Fashion house Balenciaga is suing the production company behind its controversial recent ad campaign that featured kids holding teddy bears in bondage gear. Balenciaga has since apologized for the ad campaign, but Kim Kardashian, who's been modeling the luxury brand, has denounced the ad and is facing mounting pressure to ditch Balenciaga altogether. Todd, part of the issue, there were actually two ads here at play. So one of them involved the teddy bears in bondage gear with children as well. And then a separate ad involved the placement of a Supreme Court decision that evaluated whether communications around child pornography were protected by the First Amendment. And that is why Balenciaga is suing. They're suing the production company, saying that the move is malevolent or at the very least extraordinarily reckless. And it sort of begs the question, how can a multi-billion-dollar fashion house not have final say, not have someone that sees the ad and its final depiction and then gives an ultimate green light?
Well, that's why this suit is completely for show. It's a PR move to make it seem like they're doing something. Obviously, a major brand campaign like this had to have oversight at the top levels. And if for some strange reason it didn't, that is a failure of this board, and they should probably be axed immediately. But obviously, they did. They signed off on it. This was part of their brand strategy, and it is sickening. This suit is a suit for show. As for Kim Kardashian, she has to reevaluate. Kim, you're a mom. There's nothing to reevaluate. Ditch this brand immediately. What I look at as the father of two daughters, there's this blurring of this line on the acceptable boundaries when it comes to children and sex. We need to stop it. There is no acceptable boundary. This is leading to child exploitation in record numbers. It is sickening, and this should be a bipartisan thing. This isn't Republican, Democrat, man, woman. This should be all of us. If you are a parent, if you are a decent human being, kids and sex should never be combined. We have to end it. We have to end it now, just so that our kids can grow up with that same sense of innocence that we all did.
Right, and to be clear, the apologies by the fashion house were not for having teddy bears in bondage. It was for including children in those two ads and then with the Supreme Court. And Harris, we actually had an NFL who won the MVP award. It was at the Super Bowl. He came out and said the exact same thing essentially that Todd did. I'll read it, where he says,
ooh, that's tiny.
Yeah, that is tiny, but he's basically saying the same thing. He says it's incumbent upon us to have that level of protection of kids, that those of us who are in these positions to raise awareness should be dedicated to protecting these kids and nurturing them. And Kim Kardashian, Harris,
I loved her latest statement.
Her response.
You know what my favorite part was?
What?
In speaking with them, I believe they understand the seriousness of the issue. I mean, wow.
Yeah, and Todd, you said, there's sort of nothing to assess, like she should be gone. But I thought it was poignant of her to say that part of her analysis, whether she will stay, is basing it off their willingness to accept accountability for something that should have never happened to begin with, right? And the actions I'm expecting to see them take to protect children. So she's expecting more of a proactive response. She's basically saying, you can't just apologize and get away with it. I want to see more from you. And I think that's actually noble and excellent. If you lend your face to something, you should make sure you believe in it.
And Todd, I see your point, that there should be, ground zero on this is that children and sex don't go together. Ugh. And I totally get that. What I see Kim Kardashian doing from a marketing standpoint is trying to motivate everybody else as well. Because I'm sure Balenciaga isn't the only one who's ever been guilty of this sort of thing. It's getting a lot of attention right now, for certain. And I mean, you've got the song. I mean, Cardi B, she's dropped Balenciaga, the socks, the so on and so on. So it's in the nomenclature. But I see it as a good call out. I just love that part. In speaking with them, she didn't send an email. Right. She spoke.
For Kim Kardashian, it is all about money. It is money over principle. She should have walked away from this deal. There is no question, as she is a mother, as she should stand for protecting the children. And quite frankly, this industry where they're trying to be provocative and now they're trying to cover it up, they need to do an internal audit to figure out how this all came to being. They are exploiting children, and Kim Kardashian should stand on the side of protecting our children instead of just saying, quote unquote, let's reevaluate. What are they going to do? So you'll see Balenciaga basically give money to an organization to stop child porn. That's that's going to be the response. It is not enough. And let me tell you, there should be more outrage coming out of Hollywood on this. Parents are pissed. They should boycott this brand. This should have never happened.
Well, Carly, that's if I may, that's the argument essentially that Balenciaga is making, which is that, but it wasn't us. They say the executives were not told.
Of course.
This is what they allege in the $25 million lawsuit that they called malevolent. They said we had no idea. So in terms of the abrupt, I am leaving, perhaps there is room for compassion in that point of her saying.
It's a cover-up.
Yeah.
They need
Explain
to
it.
Well,
here's the thing. But when you're the head of a company, that's on you. I mean, it is your brand.
Yes.
So you hired that production company, and now everybody's pointing fingers. The production, Balenciaga's blaming the production company. The photographer is saying it wasn't me. I just did the lighting. Obviously, everybody's saying don't look at me. But the United States is one of the biggest consumers of sexual exploitation in the world, including child exploitation. This isn't art. This isn't even just disgusting. This is dangerous. And Mercedes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. The celebrity response to this should have absolutely been much, much bigger. You have Bella Hadid. I think she deleted one Instagram post. Kim Kardashian is saying she's really reevaluating her relationship with the company. I mean, those are just words at this point. This really does remind me of the NBA's response to China, when the abuses are so bipartisan and so clear cut, but when money is involved, they just try and look the other way, wait until you could possibly move past this. The only time brands and celebrities really take a stand is when it is profitable for them.
And I understand what Harris and Emily are saying with regard to Kim Kardashian's answer.
Well, I just don't think we'd have the sensitivity about this if she hadn't gone after them.
But I'm not doing this through the lens of a news anchor who's having this. I'm doing this as the angry dad of two girls. I don't care about any of that stuff.
But
Get off my lawn.
do you think celebrities are really going to walk away? I mean, Alyssa Milano did leave Tesla to go to an origin-based
so brave
Nazi.
So brave,
VW is not that now, but obviously she didn't do her homework on that. So I get you.
That's the thing. If we had an iota of this outrage, in terms of actual activism toward laws that would actually protect children and transparency requirements between jurisdictions.
Like immigration border laws. That
Exactly.
protects the children who are,
Right, like the crime bills that we've dealt with now in the city that changed felonies to misdemeanors and reclassified that included children. I mean, the web is dark, so I hope all of this is channeled positively toward child protection. We'll see.
Great discussion.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.